of men's mental health is a prevalent issue in today's society. It's a silent epidemic, often masked by the age-old adage of man up or be strong. But strength isn't about suffering in silence. It's about acknowledging feelings, seeking help, and breaking free from the chains of stigma. Bravado and resilience are often conflated, yet they are not the same. Admitting to struggles doesn't make one weak, it makes one human. It's time we recognize that mental health doesn't discriminate on the basis of gender. From anxiety to depression, PTSD to bipolar disorder, men grapple with a myriad of mental health issues. The first step towards change is awareness. So let's shine a spotlight on men's mental health because it matters just as much. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Reach out, seek help, and let's foster a world where mental health is a conversation, not a taboo.
Legacy Foundation and A Few Good Men, in partnership with Local Motion and NYCC, present Secrets to Success, the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. Yes, Wellbeing Wednesdays are back by popular demand from 7:30 to 9:30 GMT, starting on the 21st of February and every Wednesday after that till the end of March. As always, we'll be keeping it real, confronting the tough topics for a better tomorrow. Suicide, unemployment, homelessness, fatherless families, abortion, writing wills, serious youth crime and violence, divorce, breakups, breakdowns, trauma, grief, healthy relationships, parenting, education, healthcare, self-care, wealth care. Join us for Wellbeing Wednesdays. Offload, get interactive, and enjoy giveaways. Listen to the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. We need the best of us, inspiring the rest of us. Sisters, we need to be part of this too. Big shout out to Local Motion, supporting mental health and well-being services for people living in Enfield.
Good evening, and welcome to the Secrets to Success Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. This is the fourth episode of a 6-episode series, the second series, which we're talking about men's health and well-being. We're talking about self-care, wealth care, and healthcare, protecting our mental health and well-being. We're talking about promoting mental health and well-being in our community, where it's seen as taboo, or maybe we not have understanding or full understanding and knowledge of what mental health is and the importance of it, and also preventing. So promotion, prevention, and protection of our mental health as men. It's very important. We've seen it directly and indirectly, how mental ill health can break us down, and us as a family, as a community, and in society. So it's important that we have a strong mind, body, and soul. So spaces like this, we are able to have a conversation as men, but we understand that the journey, we can't do it in isolation. We have to do it in co-production and in cooperation with our mothers, our partners, our sisters. And so we have a very special guest today, and she will introduce herself. She has lived experience of dealing with members of her family who have had mental health, and how that has impacted on her as a family member and other members of the family, because it's not an individual
journey.
Yeah, it's not an individual journey or issue. It's a collective thing that we have to kind of come together and support each other. Yeah. My name is Marlon Morris, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my learned friends on the right of me. They'll introduce themselves. So I'll pass over to Marky. Marky, you can introduce yourself, a reset before.
Good evening, everybody. As Marlo said, this is the fourth edition of a 6-week podcast. So we must be touching and doing good things, because the first season was 4 weeks. We've stretched it out to 6 weeks this time. So hopefully you know, even if it's one person that picks up something from this, is inspired, is motivated, and can take something from us, then that's a beautiful thing. You know, as Marlo said, it's good, and especially for women. And so it's so nice to have a female as a guest. Good evening.
Thank
we will
you.
be conversating more. And it's really nice. So we're going to make you feel welcome.
Thank you.
Because it's been men talking about men, and we're emphasizing to women to listen to men talking, expressing their feelings, even showing a little sign of vulnerability every now and again, because we all like to, well, we play it to how we know it. You know, the men, we're the macho ones, the providers, and, you know, we don't show a vulnerable emotional side. And the secret to success and well-being is about being a well-rounded man. Balance. You know, to be a well-rounded man, you have to be in touch with your emotions as well as your physical side, your spiritual side. And us coming together every week, inviting guests on, this is what we do. And hopefully it's inspiring other people. So my name's Marky Mark. You all know me by now. Many feathers in my hat. I'm a student mentor. I'm a healthy cookery chef. I tutor students out of mainstream school. And I'm just about looking after the future. And our future is the youngsters. So I'm heavily invested in young people. I'll pass you on to my learned friend here.
Brilliant. Let me start first by welcoming our special guest today. I've known her for a while, but I haven't seen her for a while either. But I'll let her introduce herself when the time comes. I'm Anthony Spencer. I'll probably boast I'm a foundation member of this series of the podcast. Glad to be back on it. Glad we're being received, getting a great feedback. And like I said, some of you know, I'm a published author. I'm also a student nurse at the moment. The topic we're going to be speaking about today is quite relevant to what I'm studying at the moment, so I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Being a recruitment professional, recruiting mental health nurses, normal nurses, doctors, and the likes into the NHS. So I know a little bit about the healthcare side of how this country works when it comes to people with mental health difficulties. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's show, guys. So over to you.
No, well, hold on. Thank you, Spencer. Before we introduce Kira, we want to talk about what the topic is today. Yeah.
Sure.
But before I do that,
you want me to set the tone as usual?
Reset the tone so we know that the audience know why we're here. Some people are joining us for the first time. So
okay, yeah. So we like to set the show off on the right tone. Okay. May his wisdom and guidance flow through every word spoken and every listener's heart. May this show serve as a catalyst for change, breaking down barriers and fostering understanding between men and women. I pray that as these conversations unfold, men will find solace in knowing that they are not alone in their struggles. May they feel empowered to open up, share their experiences, and seek the support they need to heal and grow. May the stories shared on this show inspire men to prioritize their own well-being, recognizing that self-care is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step towards becoming the best version of themselves. May they find the strength to confront their inner demons, break free from social expectations, and enhance their true selves. I pray that these conversations will also ignite a spark within families, communities, and the nation as a whole. May they serve as a reminder that true change starts from within, and that by addressing the needs of men, we can create a ripple effect that positively impacts everyone around us. May women, as they listen and take notes, gain a deeper understanding of the unique challenges men face. May they learn how to provide the support, the love, and understanding that men need, without judgment or expectations. May they become allies in this journey towards healing and growth, standing side by side with their men in their lives. And as these initial conversations paved the way for something greater. I pray that doors will open, opportunities will arise, and resources will be made available to further support men's mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. May this show be just the beginning of a movement that brings about lasting change and a renewed sense of purpose for men everywhere. In all of this, I give thanks to the Most High, our Heavenly Father, for his presence and guidance. May his love and grace surround each participant and listener, creating a safe space for vulnerability, growth, and transformation. May this show be a testament to his power to heal, restore, and bring about glory to his name. Amen.
Amen. That's good. That's a good prayer reset. To recap, we've had 4 shows. Yeah, we kicked off the first show where we invited a special guest called Anthony Andrew. Anthony Andrews was a lived experience expert that works with the NHS, and he's also now a Metropolitan Police officer. But he came on and shared his journey of how he had a severe breakdown, bipolar, schizophrenia, and he was admitted to St. Anne's Hospital. He was out of it, you know what I'm saying? But he used he used marathon running and his relationship with God to kind of reprogram his mind around his perception and his outlook on life. Because what happened, he had a son that had misdiagnosis and basically was had long-term lifetime
illness.
I think it's some illness, yeah. But that broke him. And that was the straw that broke his back, and he went into severe depression. But now he's 60 years old. He's running like 300 miles marathons, but he looks really young. He's very inspiring. He's almost as if he's had a new lease of life. He's overcome his mental health using his own reprogramming of his mind, yeah, and his faith in God. His faith in his God, yeah. Then the second week we had Basil.
Paul and Basil.
Oh, sorry, no, was it Basil or Paul?
We had both. We had Basil and Paul.
Yeah, we had Basil and Paul. So Basil, he's an entrepreneur. He's got basically lots of shops, health shops, where he provides herbal alternative therapy treatments for illnesses that affect us as men, like prostate cancer, leukemia, high blood pressure, those kind of things. Yeah, and he came and shared the importance of connecting the physical health with your mental health. Yeah, if you don't have the physical health, it's going to affect your mental health in your day-to-day living. And so that was very informative, very inspirational. And he's also provided a lot of jobs, which we know part of the secrets to success and mental health and wealth care is creating wealth. You understand? So, he's been able to provide a service that is beneficial to our community and create jobs as well. So then Paul came on and he talked about Locomotion. He represents Locomotion, who are a group of funders that are investing in tackling youth unemployment, mental health, homelessness, isolation in Enfield. And what we've tried to do is to bring residents from Enfield or organizations from Enfield to see to listen and to learn what is being done well, what could be done better, and how we can create new systems to get better outcomes for our men, our young boys, and the next generation. Because we understand that the system is broke. And in a lot of ways, I can testify. Before I even hand over to Kira, I went through, today we're going to talk about being a carer, or even if you've not been a carer for somebody that's had mental health issues, but you've been impacted by the fact that this has come on their lives. You understand? So 2020 Christmas, I got the phone call. My mum is sick. Yeah, she's got high blood pressure and she's incoherent. Yeah. We get that. I rush down to the house. Then she's slipping in and out of a coma. We call an ambulance. She goes into a coma. Yeah. They said she's got COVID, and she's got kidney and lung failure. Right. So they've got to hook her up to whatever they had to hook her up to. A week or so in, they said she's got a stroke, a bleed on the brain, and she's going to be a vegetable. She'll never eat by herself, walk or talk again. You understand? Even if she does come through, but it's highly likely that she's going to pass. You understand? So I was gearing myself up for that. You understand? All right. So by a miracle of God, after 3 months of her being in a coma, it's mad, because my life changed. From that day, business went out the way, kids went out the way, my own care went out the way. I'm trying
Priorities
to say,
just can change just like that.
That one information and seeing what's happening to my mom, nothing else mattered. You understand? And that was in the COVID. So imagine this happening in December, January, and by March they got the lockdown.
Of course.
Right?
Was she already out of the hospital by?
No, she was still in the hospital. Yeah. So what was happening was that they were saying that nobody can go in the hospital. Yeah. But anybody that knows me knows you can't tell me that. Yeah. So, I'm not, but I'm telling you, my mental health went out the window. So I'm telling the security, before the police come, you're going to lie down with my mother. So they fly the door. So every day I was in that hospital, like I'm the doctor, like I own the hospital. And my mom, skin was dropping off my mom because she was basically dying. You know what I'm saying to you? And her feet, I'll never forget her feet. And these are the things that traumatize you. When it don't happen to you, it happens to other people. I'm seeing the skin, the dead skin in my mom's foot. I'm using my fingernails and I'm scraping off the feet. I'm using oil and rubbing down her foot until it's smooth like the palm of my hand. I'm praying for her. I lost my faith. But now I've got to find some kind of strength from somewhere. So I start to relearn how to pray. I'm praying for her, reading the Bible over her, and I'm just hoping that she comes true. Bro, she wakes up. You know the first thing she said? Son, I knew you was going to be here. I knew you was going to be here, son.
Part of the faith.
You understand what I'm saying to you? Mm-hmm. So from there, I decided, boy, whatever happens, I'm going to care for my mother. And so I'm trying to say to you, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the future's going to hold. You understand?
She had the senses and everything and recognized everybody when she came back. Yeah.
No. She had us. She's talking with half of her side of her face.
Right.
She's got a stroke in it. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
So she's lost use on one
she's
side
lost
of her
use
body.
of one side. You understand what I'm saying to you? So she's talking and mumbling, but it's my mother, innit? I understand her. Does it make sense? Yeah. Right. So what happens is, fast forwarding, because I don't want to take up too much time. This is not my show, but they put her in they did discharge her to a rehab. Yeah. So she has to spend 6 weeks in a rehab, and depending upon what happens in the rehab will determine what they decide to do, if she goes home or she goes back in the hospital. So in the rehab, they're trying to help her to walk. The physios helping her to walk and things like. So I'm going every day to see her in the rehab and that. You know what I mean? And just of that whole experience, I have to be going hospital every day. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Parking up your car, you're getting tickets, you don't care about the tickets. You're going into the hospital. You know what I'm trying to say? She's in the hospital with other women that are not getting visits, and they're asking me to get them fruit and chocolate and crisps. And so I become their son. You get what I'm saying to you? So I'm looking after these women because, they say clap for the NHS. But when that was going on, the nurses then wasn't really looking after nobody on the ward.
They say clap for the NHS, but they don't know about the individuals that sacrifice people like yourself. There are loads of individuals that went over and beyond what they were supposed to do, what they were allowed to do, because of care, because of care and love for a loved one.
I think they were clapping for them because it's like seeing a building on fire for months, and you walk into that building every morning, even though it's burning. I think that's the real thing that people don't recognize. They knew they could die every single day, and yet they still went in. And enough of them did die. A lot of them died, hundreds.
Very
so that's the reason they were clapping for it.
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't clap, but I'm saying there's individuals that are not staff that was going out of their way.
Well, like the porters and people
everybody,
like that.
even like what Marlo's saying.
I think it was all of them.
If he's look, listen to what Marlo's saying. He's saying he's gone to visit his mum. If he's in a hospital ward and there's 4 beds and he's went to visit his mum, the other 3 patients aren't getting any visitors because of the conditions. And he's going out of his way now to, you know, if I can get you a little something, get you a little fruit, make you feel a little bit better. So all them things there that you're doing, you understand?
Those things matter.
Of course. It's a ripple effect. You started off going there, caring for your mum, and it spread to the other patients in the place because you're the only person who's on hand to do it.
I'm not ungrateful. I'm grateful for that whole experience because I learned a lot. At the end of the day, you can't judge anyone. The fact of the matter is we have a healthcare system. When you go to America, you have to pay for that. 100%. I heard that to call an ambulance, you got to pay 500 US just for an ambulance to attend. So we have a blessed system here. However, it's broken. It's broken when it comes to people that look like my mum, the elderly people. You know what I'm saying? It's not culturally competent. The knowledge that they would need to provide that care that's received wasn't there. Does it make sense? It was torture for my mum being on that wing. She would cry, "Son, please don't leave me, dude. Please don't leave me. The light, the noise. So there was a lot of things that I observed during my mum being there and the other women, the elderly women being there, that I said to myself, you know what? If we had our own way of caring, it would be different, especially as you get older. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Oiling down my mum's foot gave her a certain sense of peace and comfort and security. She lost all confidence. She couldn't recognize herself. She's an independent woman, been a strong faith praying woman for all of her life. Now she can't eat, she can't walk. I'm trying to say to you, so she now needs 24-hour care. So this is the point I'm getting to. When they release her, they decide now they're going to we can take her home. But we're going to need to have 24-hour care for her. So the social services will have to come in and give her a review and decide, make an assessment as to what care they're going to provide.
To the house, that sort of
so
thing.
This is, as I say, in the middle of the lockdown, and these carers are deciding whether they're going to come or not. I'm trying to say, because it depends on what the government say. But my mum still needs the care, you know what I'm saying? Every day, whether they just come or not. You understand? And so we had to come in as a family, step in and provide the care. Now, if you've never had to wash your mum down and you know, take off her knickers and you know, wipe doo-doo out of her bum, it's traumatizing. You understand?
Must be, man.
And some people, it affects people in different ways. But when I had to take off my mother's knickers and wash her down and a tuntun and all these kind of things, yeah, to this day, I'm still healing from it. You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
I can imagine, man.
So, and even I didn't go through the stroke. I didn't go through the kidney failure, the lung failure.
But you got your own
I
trauma.
am now traumatized what she went through. You understand?
And the role you played.
Yeah, and the role I played. However, I was able to be instrumental in terms of her recovery with the rest of the family. My dad, she's married for 51 years, so her husband was very instrumental. Her daughters, her nieces, her granddaughter, we had to come together, yeah? But like with every family, you're gonna have misunderstandings, you're gonna have arguments, and then what happens is, you know, everybody's got their way of how they feel they want to care for their loved one. And so I'm trying to say to you, and that can clash. The way you would care for your mother might be different from the way the husband
It's
will
a
care.
personal thing.
Husband, you know what I'm trying to say to you? And so that was another trauma, you know what I'm saying to you? But the biggest trauma that I want to talk about, and I'm going to bring Kira in, was how the social services wanted to deal with my mum. Yeah, they came in to basically what happened was they had agency workers working, right? And they set an appointment for the review to happen, and the agency worker left, and they did not reassign another social worker, so they left my family limbo. You understand what I'm saying to you? So we're waiting, expecting for someone to contact us, but we don't know that the person that was assigned to us has left the social services because she was an agency worker.
Right.
It's not until my auntie started to ask, what's going on? You know, what's going on with your mum's care and things like that? It's getting too much for the family members. We need help. We need help. We need help. So I said, well, you know what? Even if we don't get no help, I'm prepared to not, you know, I'm prepared to be here 24/7. You understand? Mm-hmm. But easier said than done. You can say that with your heart, but the reality of being there 24/7 is hard, especially when you got kids and you got bills to pay and so forth and so on.
You got a life already living.
You got a life already living. So anyway, it's a miracle what happened. They came in, they done the assessment. They wanted to give my mum 9 hours a month care.
9 hours a month or
9 hours a month care.
Are you joking?
That's what they wanted to do. This is what's going on out here. Mm. If you don't have somebody speaking, advocating on your behalf that knows what you're entitled to, yeah, and knows that you as the family should decide your loved one's care, because how they present is almost as if they are the ones that will decide what care your loved ones have, but that is not the truth. You have the power. You have the power to say, no, this is what I want for my loved one. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Especially if you've got the power of attorney, or you've got lasting power of attorney. Yeah, that's one of the things that we need to, as our elders get older, we need to make sure that can speak on their behalf legally. Because if you go in there and you don't have no legal rights, they can override you, exclude you, and not even take on anything you're saying.
But we'll get to that in a second. It's changing.
So anyway, what I found was that anytime there was all the women, no disrespect, but it was all women, social workers. And when I came in as the man, they didn't want to talk. They didn't want to listen to me. They were overriding me, undermining me. Oh, you know what I'm saying, oh, you're being too aggressive. Or you're being too, can you listen? Can you, like, are you going to tell your passion? You're going to tell me about my mother. Mm. Yeah. Because you think I need your money or you think I need your carers. I don't need nothing from you. I will find the money and I will find the carers to look after my mother. You understand? Furthermore, get out. Yeah. But I'm saying these things and it's causing problems between me and my dad, because as far as he's concerned, they know best. The system know best. If you don't follow the system and work with the system, then
that's an issue right there.
So me now, I'm not working with no system. That's what I'm trying to say to you. At that time, because I was full of emotion and I was full of I was prepared for my mom to die, so I was already grieving. And in lots of ways, she was already dead, because she wasn't never going to be the same woman that she was. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? So I'm dealing with a lot of emotion, but the emotion's being used against me. Yeah? And I tell you, this is where I believe, this is where nobody can't tell me there's a God. Anybody that says there's no God is a fool. Yeah? Because hear what happened, bro. Yeah? That's why I say it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah? A man asked me to help him with an event in Croydon. Mm. Yeah? So I went and go and help him with the event. Big successful event. One of his colleagues, me and her just got on like a house of fire. She was like an auntie to me, but she was a consultant and a lecturer for heads of services and heads of services. It just so happens that me and her, I was telling about my issue, and she was a lecturer for the head of service for Hertfordshire. So she calls him up, she goes, nephew, I need you to go back into that house and do a review, send your team in there and give the lady what she wants. No problem, auntie, no problem. Yeah?
Go back and renew the care plan.
In the end, my mum got 49 hours a week.
That's what it should be.
Yeah?
That's
But
round
here
about
what happened now,
should
it
be.
was direct payment. So now I can find my own culturally competent carers. These carers became like daughters to my mum. They wouldn't leave my mum's side, morning, afternoon, and evening. Yeah? Plaiting my mum's hair, painting my mum's toes. You know what I'm saying? Reading my mum's scriptures. That was one of the things that soothed the spirit because she was a faithful woman. When I'm watching these things happen, to this day, it's traumatizing. You know what I'm trying to say to you? For so many reasons, we as you said before, Mark, we're not going to have the time to really go into it. You understand? But when you see these things happening to the people that you love, and then the system is not working with you, your own family, you're in odds with. I'm trying to say to you, but everybody loves but it's just you just have different ways of coping.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's got different ways of coping with what's happening, and sometimes if you don't understand and it's not been explained, that there's no communication,
Everybody comes to their own
it just brings a
conclusions.
lot of division, a lot of separation over years and years. What happens is, you either bury it or you try and, like
Resolve
me,
it.
I've gone to therapy around it. You understand? So for 3 years I've been in therapy, and that's what I advocate for. And now what Legacy is doing is creating hubs, well-being hubs, education hubs, so we can share some of this lived experience with others, so they don't have to go through the same thing. You understand? Because you don't know it until you're in it. You know what I'm trying to say to you? You won't know. I would never know that the system was like this if I didn't go through it myself. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So I did not know anything about direct payments. I did not know anything about power of attorney. I did not know that you can go into the hospital and demand the records and make and say, well, I don't want this, I want that. Yeah. Before that time, I would just be listening and being compliant and saying, well, you know best.
The issue is,
but do they know best? I'm trying to say, if you don't take the time to educate yourself and listen to the others that have lived experience and are experts, then
they you know what, they're so trained, they do know their stuff. But do you know what it is? The system sometimes is like a chain around them. The funding, the number of people that need that service, the number of people available to do the caring. So when they're looking at all of these other things, all of the variables, and they come to your mum, as much as they know what they should, because whoever offered her, 7 hours, 9 hours a week?
9 hours a month.
Whoever offered her that knew that was a nonsense. No. They know that. They're more trained than that. They know that's a nonsense.
That was a social worker that offered.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Whoever offered her that knows that's a nonsense. However, they probably offered her that due to the constraints around the area, the availability of care workers.
Or maybe just because they saw the family was there.
Yes, exactly. See, they could have went to someone else's house. No, she's got no family. No, she's got no grandchildren doing what Marlo and his family were doing. And they will give her that 49 hours a week. Then they come to your family and they see you guys got her. You guys have been doing fine. No one's been for 6 weeks, but she looks great. She's content. And they go, ooh, you know what? They're doing great. So maybe move those resources to somewhere else that if they didn't have those hours, that woman would die. So that's the sort of things that makes the difference in how they deliver the service. But right now, I'm studying to be a nurse. I'm in the early stages. And like I said before we came on air, it's shocking some of the things I'm learning, because there's things we've known for 200 years, and yet we see a video in the 70s where they were still locking people up that were disabled, but locking them in a mental institution. But we knew things 200 years before that by books that were published on how to deal with people. So we know how to be better, but the constraints of the system is why people fall through the cracks all the time. Do you know what I mean?
The system's broken, bro.
Exactly.
The system's broken and it's not culturally competent and it doesn't meet the needs of the elderly, the men, the young boys, some of the young girls and the women that are in our community. Simple as that. Yeah. I'm going to leave it there for now because there's so much to say.
And let Kira
let Kira come in. So this is Kira, my friend. She's a mother entrepreneur and has lived experience when it comes to mental health. And thank you for coming, Kira. And
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So my brother.
Introduce yourself.
My name's Kira. I've lived in Enfield the whole of my adult life. I started off in Wood Green, Tottenham. I have one brother. My mum and dad divorced early. My dad remarried again. I have step-brothers and a stepsister, etc., family members. But my brother, from my dad and my mum, it's just me and my brother. As I said, my mum and dad separated early. My mum worked or went to college and basically lives her own merry life. And we were just in the house, or my brother was in the house. I was on the roads, run up and down, as you do.
As you do.
Well, she left
when
you
you're
to it.
young.
Well, she left us to it. Yeah, my brother, it didn't. I think with myself, the people that I found myself around, I still have them around me to this day from the young. My brother wasn't so fortunate. He stayed in the house. He wasn't as confident. My mum really had like a hold over him where I was more my dad's daughter, even though my dad was a Sunday dad. But bless him, he came every Sunday without fail, no matter rain, wind or shine. And in the early years, he took us out every Sunday. Bless him. But yeah, my brother, he was quiet, he was reserved. And I just think that the way that my mum was with him just really affected his life. As he started to get older, he was always the quiet one or the recluse. We all went through that punk stage. And he sort of stayed a bit grungy.
Okay.
Whereas I sort of moved on with the times. And so he then became that sort of grungy persona, if you like. You know, he went up Muswell Hill and hung around with all the other little grungy sort of people. And he would get himself into situations. And he's 3 years older than me, my brother. Obviously, as adults, it's not a lot of time. But when you're a child, it's quite a big difference.
A big gap, of course.
And so that I'd be there, my brother would be coming to get his little sister to fight up his battles or whatever, because he'd got himself into some palaver. But eventually, as we got older, I moved out of the house, got on with my life. I left home quite early. I left home at like 15.
I left a year after you, 16.
Yeah, and kind of got on with it because I just couldn't deal with my mum. But my brother kind of stuck it out for want of not having the confidence to do any better for himself, I suppose. And he had an incident where, in fact, he got raided by the police. He used to sell a bit of ash back in the day. It wasn't a considerable amount. And basically, they came in there and intimidated him, ate his food out the fridge, bullied him up a bit, stole his money. And
Sorry there, Kira. Is this in your mum's house?
No, he'd actually moved out of my mum had left. She'd gone country. She'd had enough of living in London.
Okay.
And she'd left. So my brother had to find somewhere to live or go to country with her. He didn't have the confidence to start again. So I think he found a little bedsit with one of his friends. And basically that's where he got raided. I don't know how or what the incidences all behind it or around it was. I was busy doing my own thing by then. But basically, yeah, he got intimidated by the police. And that's when we started to realize that he had an issue. So by this time, I think my brother was probably about 19, 20,
Okay.
maybe 21. And he started to go from being really, really, really manically depressed to over months, sometimes weeks, sometimes years, to mental manic, bipolar, like living on the edges of reality. Just the things that he would come out with. You could be walking down the street with my brother and you see a shoe under the bush. And my brother would tell you a whole story behind the dead body that was attached to that shoe. None of it real, but in his mind, very real. He'll tell you, but he was walking down the road and there was a man in the car and he knows he had a shotgun. And my brother said he had a cucumber in his bag and the man thought he had a shotgun too. And just really on the realms, but that's when he's hyper and not sleeping, going really skinny. And just crazy, like proper out there. My brother refused medication. And I actually think, looking back, that he has drug-induced psychosis. So he'd self-medicate with whatever drug he could get his hands on to obviously escape himself because he couldn't face his own realities. Hence why he's like that. But yeah, so, I mean, a lot of people will agree or disagree that bipolar needs to be medicated so that you can have some kind of balance to try and regain some kind of normality.
Fit back into normal society.
Yeah. With my brother, he just got worse and worse and worse. At one stage, I was pregnant with my third child. Well, I had 2 children, and the house where he was living in Green Lanes, it was basically a squat. It wasn't a squat, he was paying money for it, but it was terrible. It was in Green Lanes on the ladder. And I think they shut it down. Like, it wasn't livable. So he had to move out. So he come and stayed with me. At the time I was living in Enfield with my partner, and we had 2 kids at that point. And he come and lived with us. He was really depressed at the time. So he had to be encouraged to do everything. Wash, B. Get dressed, B. Get up, B. Eat, B. Constantly.
Just the normal basic things.
At the time, my auntie had a factory by North Middlesex Hospital. So I begged her, please let this boy come and do something in your factory. He needs something to get his brain
to get him up,
active.
to get him up every
Yeah,
day.
Getting back into a routine.
So he was doing that, but that meant I had to take him and pick him up. I obviously had 2 young kids. Then I became pregnant with my third. I think I had childminding 2 other children at the time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so my hands was full. So dealing with my brother was a lot. And although it sounds really bad, depressed state I could handle him in and coming up. It just so happened that as I came close to having that child, he started to get manic. Probably the pressure of what was going on.
Yeah.
Obviously, I couldn't be so active with him anymore.
Yeah.
And my partner was going through stuff as well, and I had to be obviously there to support him. I felt a bit pulled in all directions, but my brother becomes aggressive when he's manic. And though I can handle him, and though my partner could handle him, I didn't feel like it was the right environment.
For the children.
Yeah, even though they understood it's Uncle B and he loved them, he never let any harm come to them. I could trust my brother to take the kids to the park. He'd never let any harm come to them. His reactions were, and I like to do that because I felt that it gave him a purpose in life. He would, can I take the kids to the park, or the kids would get onto him. And he did, he was very much came out of his shell with the children. I think it's that innocent love, isn't it? And they're quite easy to wind up as well, which he took.
Children don't judge. They just look at
Enjoyment
him
from,
and
yeah.
say,
It's that innocent love, isn't it? That he really got on with the kids. But yeah, by the time it come to me I think I did have my son, and then within like the next few months, like I said to my brother, you gotta go. I couldn't manage it all.
Became a lot.
It was just too much. It was too much. It was hard for me. It was hard enough for me with him depressed than me and being dependent on me, much less him now being manic. So I've got to be calming him down all the time.
You got a baby crying in the next room.
It's just all too many triggers I felt for him.
I think that's kind of the other side of it. We all show those that are involved in it, the caring, the passion part of wanting to help that loved one. But when it impacts your own personal life as much as it does, there's always sometimes there can be a side of you that resents, and you don't want to, but you will get that natural feeling, a little bit of resentment, because it's taking up a chunk of your life and what you're doing.
100%, 100%. I mean,
Is it resent or is it fight
No.
or flight?
Right.
I think
at
it
that
might be a
point-
case of
Resent.
saving yourself.
at that point, for me, it was fight or flight. He had to go.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
I didn't let go. I still had
yeah.
a relationship with
Yeah.
him. I still tried to do for him when he was responsive. There were times when he wasn't interested. He didn't want that input from me. And sometimes that'd be months, sometimes it'd be years we didn't see each other. And then many years down the line of this same kind of behavior, and once my children had started to grow up and had grown up, I took it back on again, if you see what I mean.
100%. I fully see.
And at
Recharge
this-
and reset.
At this stage, I would go drive the 2 hours to his house, pick him up, have him for the day. He had whatever he needed, anything to eat, anything to drink, anything to smoke, whatever he needed, have that. We'd send him home with a care package. And he was so manic at this point, sitting in the car, you'd be like,
Can I ask a question? Within those years, from the time when he left, when your last one was, when your third was a baby, to when you reconnected, did he ever get treatment for his situation? Did he ever get seen by anybody?
when my children were little, he went homeless, right? He was actually living on a canal boat. You know, at Stamford Hill, you know the canals at the back there. Do you know what I'm
Yes,
talking?
yeah.
He was living on that canal in a like a thrown away boat. And
So like squatting in the boat.
yeah. And he loved it, by the way. He'd come to mine every week, same care package. We'd feed him, we'd wash his clothes, we'd wash everything. We'd give him new stuff, we'd give him warm stuff, whatever he needed every week we'd give him when we saw him. At this point, I wasn't going to get him, he was coming to me.
Right.
And some outreach program found him and he got put into a secure unit for a little while.
Right.
It was like Islington Way. Then he got put into like a...
Why a secure unit?
Because he was clearly mental. And they could see that. Like, all right,
So was your family around?
No, what family? It's only me and him.
So they picked him up and then put him in a secure unit?
They picked him up and brought him to be assessed. It's an assessment.
Yeah.
So, but they have to keep you there. They can't let you come and go. So he's had this
What, did they
assessment.
arrest him or something?
No, it's outreach.
But it's under the Mental Health Act.
It's Mental Health Act. Outreach.
So if they see you running naked on the street,
Yeah.
the same thing they would do.
Scoop you up.
They'd hold you and they'd assess you, but in
Yeah.
that assessment period, you got to be held in a secure.
What is that? 21
Facility.
days, 28 days?
Something like that. I think
it's
it was
3 weeks,
about a
something
month.
like 3 weeks or a month, something like
Yeah,
that.
I think it was
Yeah.
about a month he was there. Then they moved him to another place in Leytonstone, like a little bit more. It wasn't secure. It wasn't. He could come and go,
Right.
but that was only for a certain amount of time. It was like a placement. Then from there, he's supposed to get
His own.
some kind of different accommodation, to which they put him in Hackney.
So this is all on you? Was there no other brother and sister?
No,
Just you?
yeah.
Wow.
My mum is a mental health.
Nurse.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The irony.
Is she alive?
She
Is she
she's alive, very much so, but she washed her hands and went about her business years ago.
Wow.
So she likes the idea of having children, but that's about it. Bring her any issues, she's not prepared to deal with that. I mean, people remember
She would have
us.
been a great advocate for him, you know.
Listen.
Has she been hands-on?
Hands-on for who?
No, I'm saying had she been hands-on,
Oh,
that would have been.
well, she was back in the day when we
that
was
would have
growing
been
up.
the foundation.
He wouldn't be like that
to
if
get
his
the
mum
best
was hands-on.
outcomes for him through the system.
He wouldn't be like that if his mum was hands-on. She was a mental health nurse. She worked in High Cross, you know, in Tottenham.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where she worked. We was known for the best parties when she was at work on a weekend. We was like 12, 13, and she was working like the whole weekend. So we was throwing parties, as you do. There's no one else at home. We was known for that.
Mm.
My mum was busy doing her work. to make her money to do what she needed to do. So like I said, but how old was that? I think she was I was 16 when she left and went country. Yeah.
Well, you'd already left home, obviously.
Yeah, I left home from 14. I couldn't stomach it.
And look
any
what
longer.
you just said, yeah? Look what you just said, what I just heard, is that she was busy at work while you lot was having parties.
Yeah.
And her son was getting unwell.
But was he unwell then, though? Not yet, right?
Not yet. He was. We were young then.
You know what I hear? You know what I hear from that? Sometimes while we in at the party, our kids are getting sick.
Yeah, but I do think there's a difference. I do think like there's balance in it. My mum just wasn't good at a balance. Do you know what I mean? And then neither was my brother, because look, he ended up bipolar, which is classic. You can't balance.
Yeah.
Like everything's up and
Imbalanced
down.
emotions.
But what you said from the top of the show, you said that the way your mum was with him contributed to his illness.
Yeah, because my mum was not very much narcissistic. She was a narcissist. And so we
So
were...
describe that. Give me an example of that. Because this word narcissist is like a new word to me.
That's
Explain
going to take your whole show and a half.
Just
It's
explain.
too vast.
Yeah. So what do you mean?
Narcissistic.
They just base
Narcissists,
it life about themselves.
they don't have the
Is
power.
that a mental illness?
It is definitely a mental health issue. They don't have the ability to love anybody else. They don't have the ability to care about anybody else beyond themselves. You are a source for them, for whatever reason, a source for them to regulate themselves, a source of happiness, a source of anger, a source of money. Everybody in a narcissist's life is a source. So if that source becomes a problem, they just move on to the next source. And when that becomes a problem, they move on to the next source. And if they feel like they can come back, because they like to hoover and suck you back in, they will come back to that one again. A narcissistic parent for a child, you can't ever get away. At least with a partner, there's some escape. Even with a brother or sister, you don't have to live with them again. But growing up with a narcissistic parent, you got to be very strong-minded or have narcissistic tendencies yourself, so you just don't care.
To balance it.
Do you know something?
Wow.
You're the
That's
first
very good,
person.
very good.
And I'm
How you
trying
explain that?
to think, but you're the first person that's actually put narcissism to parenting, as in parent and child relationship. As a parent, I can't imagine being narcissistic to my children. I've never known that example you just gave. That's brand new for me.
I had to learn.
Swear to God.
I had to learn motherly love by giving it. I didn't learn it by receiving
From
it. Do you
your
understand?
parent.
I had to give motherly love to understand. Now there's certain parts of it I'm still learning. I'm still learning that.
Because you never received
Wow, I
it.
never
never
had that.
knew that was a possibility that a parent can be
That's deep.
narcissistic to their child.
Just like ABC
I
does.
know they can be cruel. Remember that narcissism is what you
They
just
don't think they're
described.
cruel. It's your fault.
That's
they think
that's
they
what
think
I'm
it's your
saying.
fault.
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. In a narcissist will always blame you for whatever's going on.
Of course.
They would not accept what's happened.
They're perfect.
And they
They're
will make up
absolutely
their own
perfect.
reality to what's
But
happened.
they know they're not perfect. You know
but,
that, innit?
but like most of our parents beat us when we was young. Yeah, my dad beat me when I
I'll
was
beat
young,
my kids.
right? I never did because
I
my
did.
dad beat me. Just because
I did.
I went through that, I made sure I never took that on as a parent and gave that back. But the difference is that I'm finding is when your dad or mum, when they're not narcissistic, they will beat you and tell you why they beat you, right?
Yeah.
And will threaten you, but will buy you stuff and still be a parent. You can see the parent inside. And what you go through with them in terms of punishing, sometimes you can say, yeah, you know what, I stayed out late. That was really my fault. And then you grow up and you think, well, but you went too far, Dad. I stayed out late. You didn't have to beat me. You can understand that.
100%. And
But
you're raising the difference. You are exactly
That's what I'm
raising the
saying.
difference.
That's what I'm trying to show you, the difference in
Yeah.
what you just told me
Yeah.
to what I've known my whole life. What you've just explained is what I thought existed in friendships, relationships, work colleagues, maybe sometimes, men who dislike women or got these issues about. I can see in all those other places, and I've known them to be there the whole time I'm as an adult growing up as well. But what you've just brought to the table just now is spanking new for me.
So
I
what it
never
is
knew
is-
you could
yeah.
describe a parent-child relationship as how you've just described it.
My mum will stand up and tell you she's the best mother.
That's
that
narcissistic.
She has
For real.
such an amazing relationship with her daughter. These times, I don't see my mum. If I haven't spoke to my mum for a while, but if I do, the phone has to be on loudspeaker over there because that is too close. I don't want to be that close to her. I don't want that energy. No thanks.
And I think the problem that comes with being narcissistic is that you lack emotional intelligence.
That's a part of it.
You don't even consider other people's feelings or whatever. It's all about yourself. So
100%.
what you say goes and sod it to everybody else. Do as I say.
And it doesn't matter what angle. Like, all right, so this is a narcissist. So I'm going to ask a direct question now, yeah? Have you had conversations?
We're going to have to leave it.
No, I want to ask a quick one.
Cool.
Have you had conversations with your mum where you've tried to break down certain things she did wrong? How did that go when you've done that? Because again, your answer will put the nail.
All right, so she's oblivious. What she will do is in the sentence that you put to her, she will pick that you didn't have the right grammar in what you said.
To try and gaslight you,
Because she can't possibly
gaslight.
sit down and admit that she's wrong in any way.
Right.
Yeah.
In a narcissist's eyes, everybody is a perfect image. And once that perfect image starts to falter, they will move on to the next perfect image because everything has to be perfect because they know they're so unperfect. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So everything has to be perfect, even though it's very far from it.
All right, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I know what narcissists mean.
Well, why you misunderstood the word? I've understood that it exists between parent and child,
100%.
which I never knew.
100%. And it leaves for a very broken child.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But
So
hence my brother.
let's talk about that then.
Yeah, hence my brother.
Because one was broken, but you wasn't broken.
No.
And with this is about men's mental health and wealth creation. You got a narcissist woman that's got a son and a daughter, and her behavior has affected the son, but has, what would it say, done to you?
It definitely affected me, but I tried to, as a child, look past it, just be getting on with life, which obviously as an adult is not a good look because then you've got all these demons that you've got to now face.
True.
Yeah.
And, you know, but for my brother, who wasn't so strong-minded and had no choice but to live in it, yes, it ended him up like that. Now...
But you didn't deal with it. What I'm saying is, yeah, you had boys, right?
Yeah.
You had, so how many sons you got?
I got 4 boys and 1 daughter.
Four sons. And then you had a partner.
Yeah.
And then you had a brother.
Yeah.
So you got all these men around you and you're giving these men love. You're giving these men care, but that's not what you received.
No.
So where did you find that to give all these other men? All these men, your sons, your partner, your brother, because you've brought you keep bringing your brother
and
in.
come at the other end of it complete as well.
I'm
Remember,
an
it's not
empath.
just giving.
I'm just that person.
Because she could have went through that and be a different person.
I'm
That's what I'm
always,
trying to say. Do you know
know what? I'm always going to choose. Like, I've been through stages in my life where I've been very angry. I've been through stages in my life where I felt very mistreated. I've always felt like I didn't belong, but that didn't really bother me. Like, I had my kids and I threw myself into that, and I definitely belong with them. We're very close. Me and my boys, not so close with my daughter. She's closer to her dad.
But your boys, what I will say, I don't know them personally, but I know of them, and they are strong men, professional men, manageable men, very close to each other as brothers.
Yeah.
And that they're a testimony to you.
I'm very proud
I'm trying to
of
say to you, you, as I know it, you even work with them now.
Yeah, I do.
I'm trying to say to you,
I'm my eldest PA. I'm very proud of that.
you work with your sons, you know what I'm saying? And so what a mother are you? You're like a super mom, like in the sense of like you've nurtured them, grown them for them to now be to provide for you now and to be of support to you now.
And they really are 100%.
But they could have turned the other way though.
They could have.
they could have turned the way your brother went easily.
Yeah, but my brother didn't have mother's love, did he?
yeah.
That's right.
My brother didn't
Yeah.
have
So
that.
do you see why it's
unconditional love.
important that we have the women in the process of our restoration and our healing and our recovery
Women
as
are key
men?
to that.
They're
Women are
key.
key to
That's
that.
part of the secrets to success. Because
women are
at
key to
first,
all
I'm not
that.
going to lie to you, Kira, we started this thing and my mindset was, well, we don't really need no women in this conversation. We just need to have a man-to-man conversation. But as you go along the journey, you recognize that you can't have healing without your mother, your partner, your daughter, your niece, your sister. It's incomplete in some way, shape,
Yeah, I
or
wasn't
form.
of that mindset if you remember when we first was talking about it all.
Yes, you
And-
wasn't. You was for the women.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was never on a all man thing. We've actually got guests coming on that we've spoken about on the
27th, yeah.
27th who lost a son. So we've had Mark Prince who's lost his
I
son.
grew up with Mark.
Right. I went school, college with right. So we've had him on the show, and we've heard a man's perspective on losing a child. What I wanted to do, and what we're hoping to do with the 27th, when we invite her when she's on the seat, is to get a woman's perspective on losing a child.
Yeah, I heard
Because because there are two sides to get the balance. We need women,
that. Yeah. And you know
and
what?
to get for women to get the balance, they need men.
Mark touched on it earlier. Like, I really think that it's helpful for you to have women here because we need to understand.
Each other.
And if you like you lot don't want to open up to us, it's hard for you lot to open up to us on one-to-one settings. It's much easier in a situation like this because there are women that want to understand, especially our ages now. Everybody's
100%.
over it. Everybody's
That's
done the
right. We've
work.
lived life,
They've
we've
done the
put in work.
healing.
Kids have grown.
A lot of
different
people's
outlook.
looking into their spirituality, whether it's God, whether it's the universe, however you look at things, whether you worship. For me, from you got something that helps you, then fair enough. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we're healing now. We're concentrating on our mental, our physical, our spiritual health, and where we want to understand how to live and grow with you lot. We want you to heal yourselves, but now we need to understand you and we want to grow. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, women are fed up of having to be the healers.
Having to be raising their own family and their men as well.
Yeah, just
Allegedly.
having to always be the healer. Do you know what I mean? Like, heal yourself
The pacifier.
and then let's grow together. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just makes more sense. Then you can grow. It's not such a fight, I feel like, all the time.
Yeah.
I think one thing where I slightly differ in all of this is the fact that whether it's male, female, the one main thing is love. Because you can have a son, yeah, and the mum isn't around. It's all better if she is because we want that balance.
Of course.
But if you've got enough love and you're in touch with your emotional side as well, you've got enough to nurture your son to be a man, but to also have an emotional side as well. And I think that's where I see problems because we're too busy trying to get that 2.4 family thing, and that thing doesn't really work. It works in theory, but the reality is families and how they come is made up and come in different ways. So Kira is a prime example. She's grown up with a lack of love, and she could have had children and just continued
With that same
did
pattern.
that same pattern. But she had that strength of mind to choose and say, no, even though I didn't receive it, I know
gonna
there's
give it.
better.
Can I say something? I'm going to make you, well, it might not make you laugh, but each and every one
Thank
of
you,
my
Ma.
children have come to me at some point and said, that's not fair. You love that one more than me. Each one of them. And I said to them, you know what? You see, because that one, and that one, it means I love all of you.
That's right.
At some point, everybody feels like they're really getting love. That one's really. But as a mum, rather than thinking, oh my God, where am I lacking? I said, no, I'm not
But
lacking.
do you have a favorite though?
Like it.
They know. They know.
I'm
They
only
know I
joking.
do. But I do.
You have a favorite?
But it's
You're
not
not supposed to have
favorite. I love
favourites.
them all the same amount. It's just the relationship. It just
Energies
works
is
better.
different.
You're not
Come
supposed
on,
to have no
everybody's got-
favourites.
well, we just get on better. However you want to put it, that's the reality.
But you
One
ne-
of them,
but you never
one of them, he
confess
knows
it.
who
You
he
never
is, it's my
confess it.
heartbeat.
Don't say nothing.
And
don't
one
say-
of them knows he's my ride or die. And listen, the other one's like my rock.
It's true. It's true.
They
it's
are-
true. It's true.
All
It's-
my boys they're all good boys.
Do you know what? Do you
They
know
all
what
look
I've
after their
done
mum.
when I've had that conversation? I've got one daughter and 2 sons. Yeah, so I got a daughter first, and then I got a son second, and then I got a son third.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what I say is, my daughter's my first, so you're special. You're the only girl, so you're special. The middle one could have been lost. I'll say to you, you're my first son.
Yeah.
You're my first
Yeah.
son.
And then you got the
Come on.
baby.
Yeah.
And then the little one, you're my baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the
that's how you
last.
get- that's how you
You're
get
my
around
wash
it.
belly.
Yeah, the wash
So-
belly.
So it makes them all
Feel
special,
special.
in their own
Yeah.
different ways. You understand? But let me say this to you as well. Like you, my mum was loving. Yeah, she's gone now. But my dad was never a loving one. He was more comfortable. He's still alive now. He was more comfortable telling you off than praising you. Right? He's one of them kind of guys. He never changed nappies his whole life. I never once got a hug from my dad that I can remember. And I'm his
Yeah.
first child. Yeah? First child and first son. And I grew up doing exactly the opposite. I grew up kissing my kids. Yeah? When my boys were babies, I kiss them on the lips. When they get to about 1 or 2, I start kissing them on the cheek. But
Yeah,
whenever I
yeah.
hug them,
Yeah,
you know them big kiss, you understand, on the cheek, yeah? I changed nappies. And the mans that I was around the road never changed nappies. Yeah?
Yeah.
But I did all of those things to go against what I knew growing up, just to have a better outcome. And I remember one day, my first son, who's now 33, he was a baby still, so he's come round, and him and my mum's come round to the flat, and I'm watching him in the sink, because when they're little, you watch
As
them
you
in the
do.
basin, innit? So I'm watching him in the basin, and he's poked his head round. He said, "Anthony, hold him better than that." I went, "What? Did you ever do this? How you tell him? You think this is the first time I'm bathing him in the sink?" I went, "Go away from here. Trying to tell me how to hold the you better when you never did it your whole life. How do you know how it's done? How you gonna come peek through the door, see me doing that instead of saying to me, you know?" And this is what I mean about he was more comfortable, not praising you. Yeah.
Because he wanted to tell you,
Rather than
say
say,
something
"Oh,
nice.
son, you know what? I wish I did that when you was a baby."
Yeah.
Rather than say, "Oh, son, that's lovely to see you do that." Rather than say something nice, man says to me, "Oh, Anthony, hold him better than that."
Watch this. Do you remember what I was saying
Yeah.
earlier on? Yeah, about mindset and about men. And you're talking about your father who's from that old school generation
Yeah.
where they don't show that soft side.
Yeah.
So if he never showed it then, he's just gonna keep it up.
Mm.
He'd probably shock you if he came and hugged you and kissed you. As much as you would
I'll
want
probably
it,
have a heart
something.
attack.
That's what I'm saying to you. So he's of that mindset where
Yeah.
your mum you'll get all the loving from. I'm here to discipline.
I'm meant to
you.
discipline you
Yeah.
lot. I'm meant to hold you lot to account.
Can I just say, Kira, that your journey is very unique, but I'm sure audience can relate because they've been through it. And I say why it's unique is because you're still trying. You're still trying. Like your mom said, you know what you said. She's washed her hands of it, but you're still out here trying to get support and help for him. Where is he now?
Yes, very good
Right,
question.
so-
Thank you.
When the lockdown happened, at that point he was living in it's a flat in a block that's everybody's mental health in there.
Right.
And there's meant to be somebody that comes and
Make sure everyone's fine. And
right. So that's where he is. He's been
Till now.
till now.
Okay.
At that point, I was going every week, getting him, bringing him back to where I was. He was spending the day and then we was taking him back. We done that every week. It got to a stage there where, again, my mental health, I just couldn't deal with him. I was going through things myself and I just couldn't deal with it. And we had an argument over a Hoover. And the way he dealt with me, I couldn't look past his mental health. Does that make sense?
No, I understand fully.
I couldn't look past his mental health because it was starting to affect me and my son. He had an argument with us over a Hoover. I talking to my dad that it was just all a big palaver. And I just thought, you know what, I need to give this boy a bit of space. And then I didn't see him for about 2 years. Then I saw him Father's Day. He turned up at my dad's and my sons took him with them to go and see their dad and then brought him back. And then I went to look for him on his birthday last year. I phoned him and I've said to him, are you home? I'm coming to see you. He said to me, no, don't come. I said, what do you mean don't come? He said, I haven't got no electric. I said, what do you mean? I think this was a Monday or a Tuesday. I said, since when ain't you had electric from? He said, son, I said, let me come and punch your meter. He said, no, it's a smart meter. I said, but you haven't got no phone. I know he's on a brick phone. My dad's told me this is the phone he's got. But you ain't got a smartphone. How are you running? It's on somebody else's phone. So where them is? Oh, he don't know. Maybe they're going to come back later.
That's why he didn't have the electric. Wow. I
said, all right, I'm going to phone you back tomorrow. Anyway, what I done was I got my eldest and we went down there on the Thursday, right? I phoned him outside. I said, B, you home? He said, yeah, why? I said, I'm outside. Come open the door. When I tell you this boy, you could hear that he dropped the phone and stuff. It took him so long to come to the door. Then he's come and the boy poked his head outside the door. He looked like Fagin off of Oliver Twist.
Wow.
Beard down like this, hair down like this, and like just shaking, mash up. I've gone up in the yard, and as soon as I've walked up in there, his flat is at the top, but he's got his front door, and then there's stairs going up. So I'm going up these stairs, and I can see girls' boots, girls' shoes, girls' trainer, girls' belongings all in the house. So this is his mental health.
In his house.
You're not meant to have no girl can't come and live in there with you. It's mental health accommodation. Gone further upstairs, gone into his sitting room. He made some fiberglass creation years and years ago, and he's took it with him to every house. And it usually has all his little bits and pieces on it. All her bits and pieces, pictures, this, that, the other. Looked over on the side, and I can fully see that someone's been cutting up their drugs on the side, right? Not weed. So I'm saying to him, what's going on in here? And he's saying to me, this girl, and my dad's told me about this girl. I've heard stories about this girl that he's living with. So basically, this girl sells crack, and she uses his house to come and cut up her
what's that word? There's a cocoon. Is it cocoon?
I don't know.
There's a new word.
I don't know,
where...
but that's who's got his smart meter on her phone. So this boy is now a crackhead. So she's coming and she's cutting up her things and probably
feeding him.
Yeah. So that she can come there and do what she's doing.
That's what they do.
So imagine from Sunday she ain't been there. I've come there Thursday, still ain't got no electric.
Wow.
Now me or you, if we've come over hard times, God forbid, whatever reason, we're gonna run our extension lead down in the hallway and hold that plug.
We're gonna find a solution.
No. I said to him, what? I was opening letters when I went in this. I want to know what's going on. What's going on with this woman in your house? Why is all her belongings here? She shouldn't be here. I'm opening letters and I'm finding gas bill. I'm saying, why is she getting gas bill letters to your
They're all in her name now.
900 and something pound. Then I've opened another one, exactly identical bill back in his now, saying, where's your gas meter? He's saying, I don't have one. I said, huh? He said, that debt got run up so much on it.
They took the meter.
They took the meter out.
And put what?
Nothing.
The electric.
So this boy, I call him a boy. He's 53 years old. He has got no heating, no hot water, no electric.
Mate.
And he's living like that in 2024.
Literally in darkness.
So I'm saying to him, right, I'm going to camp out here for the girl. I'm going to hold her up. She's coming out your yard.
Wow.
Then he's saying, I've noticed he's starting to get all in the panic now. So I'm saying to him, all right, do you not want me to do that? Do you want her here, B? Remember, we're dealing with somebody with really bad mental health. So I'm trying to assess where he's at right now as well, because he looks terrible. And obviously, I haven't seen him as a crackhead. I don't know.
So it was never. It's never been.
No,
on it.
he walked around saying all of these things, but he wasn't no crackhead.
Imagine getting
What things was
crack.
he saying?
Imagine starting crack
He was
in
saying
2023, 24.
Yeah, that's what he's done. He's obviously hitched
That is
himself up
nuts.
around people saying, yeah, I smoke crack. And they said, yeah, then. And he's got in with them. He sat down and told us stories about how he got in with this one and that one, and they was coming and serving up from his house. And then he's gone on the road. Other dealer that's in competition with this one has seen him and beat him up. He's gone in the house, told them, they've gone stabbed that one. And now these are looking for him.
Oh my
All right, so
days.
listen,
You gotta get him
my
out of there.
question then is,
You gotta get him out of there.
My
because
But I
question-
said to him, do you want
That's
to
the next
sorry, Marla.
phase.
I said to them, do you come?
That's the
I'll
next
take
phase.
you."
They're gonna kill him.
No, because he's a crackhead now.
They're gonna kill him. That's the next stage, babe.
He ain't been out the house for
And
2
he won't
years.
even sense the danger.
He won't
That's
come
the
out
sad-
the house. He's paranoid up in there. He won't come out the house.
So what's the
He's
next
very
step?
scared.
What's the plan?
Well, I
Kira?
was trying to find out about getting him sectioned to then get him help moving on, but I can only really do that privately. And when I've inquired with people about private, they're saying no.
Can I tell you what you can do? Can I tell you your grounds? Your grounds is the fact that somebody with mental health is living in the property with no light, no heating, and no electricity. Yeah, no gas, nothing. That's that there. If any,
It's illegal.
it's illegal. It shouldn't happen.
Remember,
and
I'm
especially
telling you,
getting
this
mental
is-
health.
This is a mental health accommodation. You do realize that, yeah? That has a key worker that is in that property every single
So
day.
have you spoken to her? To the key worker? Is it him or her?
Because when I say to my brother, I'm going to chat to the people, my brother starts panicking.
You gotta go over him.
yeah.
You
So
have to override him.
Can I
babe.
just ask you,
Yeah.
my question was,
Sorry.
is that he's in a home, right? And supported living. And these people must have policies and procedures around health and safety.
Yeah.
They're clearly in breach and not protecting his health and his safety. Yeah. Therefore, these people, this is what I'm saying, the system is so broke when it comes to people that look like us.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if these were other homes or with people that have maybe the knowledge and understanding about the protocols and the procedures, yeah, when these things happen, these people will be held to account because somebody's responsible.
How could a caretaker not know about this?
He's saying, my brother is saying, he don't let the people them in the room because if they see the gal is in there, he's in breach of contract and they will dash him out.
And this is what I'm saying. These people get lots of money for him to be in
course
that
they do.
for
So
care
from he's up
provision
there and doing
and
his thing, they're not
accommodation.
business. The last place that he was in, they were supposed to proper engage and do stuff with him and
Activities,
all that.
nothing.
Nothing.
Do
Nothing.
you know his social worker or his care worker or his key worker?
Not a clue.
See,
He's an adult. My mum's next of kin,
don't
and
worry,
I've
we'll-
asked her
we'll-
to.
after the show, we'll have a conversation. See
What
how
I
how
still
we
can't
can
get my
support
head
him.
around is that the building that he's living in, you're saying it's specified for people,
like
residents with mental health. How British Gas, whoever, can go in there, and still take that meter? Because in 2024, they're not supposed to be doing that.
He had some big, because I'll tell you why. Let me explain a little something to you. If you know how the system works at this stage, even if you're of sound mental
Corpus
health,
Mentis,
it's really hard to fill out them forms and stuff. And you've got to
Okay.
keep phoning and you've got to
That's
keep
right.
going.
That's right.
How's my brother going to do that?
That's
He ain't
right.
doing that.
That's
So
right.
from they lock off his money, he's going to make 1-2 phone calls. Then he's pulling his hair out now. He can't cope with that. He's losing his mind. He's not going to attempt it again. That's now a trigger.
But not only that as well, he's been manipulated by this
other
woman.
people.
You know what I'm saying this woman's manipulated,
Of course.
taken over his house
He's
and basically
isolated himself.
put him on drugs. So he's now a drug addict. Plus he's got this the other symptoms what he's got.
Bipolar.
Yeah. So
I reckon he's
This
got drug-induced
is probably-
psychosis.
it's
So he's
probably
there abusing
paranoid
crack
schizophrenia.
and he's got
woman done
drug-induced
that to
psychosis.
pacify him so she could get on and do what she's doing.
You see,
and
when
get
it
no
started off
argument.
with this, apparently this girl was somebody else's girlfriend when she first come on the scene. There you go, there you go. You know, it's the same. He got mixed up with in a crowd. Do you know what I mean? And at that point was at the same sort of point when I'm saying I couldn't deal with him because what are you doing? I can't start dealing with you now. You're walking around and you're saying, I'm a crackhead, I'm a crackhead. At that point, he wasn't. He was just saying all this stuff because I know a crackhead when I see one. Come on, I was born in the 70s, babe. I grew up around all that. He weren't no crackhead at that point. Now, that man's a crackhead. He is addicted to crack.
Do you think he actually sits down and wait for them to bring drugs to him, or does he actively go? Is he at the place now where he actively goes out?
He's
too
scared to go out because these people are going to beat him up.
Okay, so does he buy crack?
So that girl is coming in his house and doing her thing, and probably the scrapings there where she leave on the side.
Yeah.
So this is why I feel platforms like this is very strategically important, so we can create solutions to help people like your brother, people like my mum when she was when they get of age, and they need that support, they need that advocacy, they need that personal support. You understand? And so we need culturally competent, lived experience experts that can see the problem, assess it, and if they haven't got the resources, signpost the family member to the ones that do have the resources. We have the capacity, we have the skills, we have the capabilities, we have the qualifications to make it happen. And so hopefully, Legacy with Locomotion can, at least support you to try and get some kind of answers and support for your brother, because that's unacceptable.
Totally. Let me ask you a question, because we're coming to the end of it, and it will be really good to hear, for the audience to hear your take on it. So I got two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is, what do you think that you, the system, your mum, those around him could have done differently? That's number one. And number two, where do you go from here? If there's anybody else out there that has a similar situation, whether it's their son, it could be their son, it could be their partner that they still love dearly, it could be a couple who's married to a husband for years, don't want to leave him. Where do you go from here? So firstly, what could you guys have done better, or what the system, not just you, because you took on a lot. You was really everything for him. But looking back, what could your mum have done, the system have done better? And then on moving forward, how do we solve this, man?
All right, so
good question.
My mum could have done so much for him. She knew the right people. My mum is the prime sort of person. She knew the right people to speak to. She knew the right avenues to go down. She just couldn't be bothered, and she weren't interested. So she didn't. My brother got, I think it was early 2022, my brother got arrested for murder.
2022?
Yeah. January 2022, my mum phoned me and I answered.
That's not
and
even
she
funny
said,
though, man.
It is funny because my brother had them up. They took him back to court for free. I cannot even imagine the things that my brother was saying to them. But they obviously let him go but they let him go. I was saying to my mum, this is it. He's going to get sectioned now. Something's going to happen for him. Like,
was he claiming a murder, or did a real murder happen?
No, a real murder did happen, and he got caught up in it. People that he was around at the time, he got caught up in when the police swooped.
Yeah,
he never had anything to do with it at the time. But where I tell you that my brother lives on the outskirts of reality,
talks himself into.
So
everything.
he probably talks himself into suspect number
Can
one.
you not even begin to imagine the things that he was telling these police while they took him back 3 times to court to hold him for longer? 3 times. At that point, I'm saying to my mum, sign over, like legally. Let me.
The power of attorney.
Power of attorney, no.
Yeah.
Can you do that now? Can you not put pressure on your mum to do that at this point?
No, she can't do that.
My brother is old enough to say, or my brother should be able to say, let my sister deal with it. From I can prove that I'm his sister, which obviously I can. Why should there be a problem? But yeah, probably there is.
What we can do, we've got a partner called Blue Trinity Solicitors, and they helped me get power of attorney and my sister get power of attorney for my mum and my dad.
Okay.
I can get you onto Jonathan from Blue Trinity.
Please, Marlo, get her onto that. Because 100%. You know what I'm dreading hearing? that they've taken his life.
Yeah, I mean, he's still.
Because this thing, the stabbing of that group, and then that is what's killing a lot of people today.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he stayed in the house.
Lots of people are dying over that stuff because you live on Lansdowne Road. Some guy in 76 stabbed my pal that lives over there. I see you on Lansdowne Road all the time. You go with his friends, boom, they attack you. It could be as trivial as that. Never mind the fact that they beat him up, then he told them, and they so he's right now, his life's in danger.
Yeah,
and it could happen any day.
And that's what I'm saying.
I beg you to help her out. All you got to do is just put her in touch with them.
Yeah,
that's it. She's savvy. Trust me. She will deal with it.
Yeah,
and they will help you. They will be that guiding tool.
Yeah,
to guide you through the steps you need to make. Put her in touch. I'm begging you, and do it as soon as you can, Kira. Honestly, because
I need to.
Don't take it for a joke. Yeah. Too many people are dying over that kind of stuff right now.
The only thing is, this boy don't want to help himself. This man, he don't want to help himself.
He's not there, babe.
I get it. He's
really not there.
I get it.
If he was even a little bit there, he would recognize the help you're trying to bring. He'll be trying to save himself. He's not even fed up on living in a house with no flipping.
That's what I'm saying. It's just that he's just beside himself. That's how it is, and he's cool with that.
Bridget, we had a hurricane in Spain where the whole electric in our urbanization is called like 40 big houses and stuff on the top of a mountain, yeah. And we had a hurricane and it knocked out the whole electric everywhere, yeah. One night I could bear it now. One bloody night, yeah. And we had to go into Barcelona, into the city, yeah, and stay in a hotel. And we had visitors, so I had to move everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been in there for months.
And really, we don't know the truth of it.
How's he even showering? How's he even bathing himself?
And he didn't smell.
He
did not smell, so he must be washing in cold water.
Yeah.
He's not. There was takeaway bags. There's no way to cook. There's no gas. There's no electric. There was takeaway bags. He was very skinny. But even like the things I bought for him, like I know my brother to drink coffee. We're coffee drinkers. So I bought every kind of coffee, sachets, ready-made ones. Anyone I could find. Since I don't drink coffee.
This is what's going on. If you don't have advocates like yourself that's going to speak on your behalf to the homes, to the key workers, to the social workers, to the mental health workers, then you're just going to get overlooked. You're going to get dismissed and excluded. And while they're making money from you being there, you know what I'm trying to say to you, or being on their books. And this is not right. This is an error in the system, and we need to change that.
And it's across the board. My youngest son, he has PTSD, right? His friend got killed. And it was very, very traumatic, right? And we've done the self-referral. He spoke to a counsellor, and hear me when I tell you, the counsellor said, "We can't help you." I put the phone down. Huh?
You see, what's happening, man. This is why I think what we've created in Enfield is very unique in sense of having a hub which will deal with education, family support, mental health, because we need safe spaces where we can go and get, not just have a revolving door where you're going, oh, we can't help you with housing, so you have to go to the council, or we can't help you with education, or you have to go through the door, we can't help you with mental health, that's not our specialist need. We have to have in-house all our experts, all our counsellors, all our housing officers, all our lawyers, all our, I'm trying to say, or at least have a network that we can tap into, because what you go is from pillar to post. You've said he's got housing needs, he's got mental health needs, substance misuse needs, he's got health and safety needs, criminal justice needs, he's going into the police, getting arrested for murder. These things are a lot for one person to deal with. You need a whole team of people to deal with what you're dealing with.
I think the once they take on his case, I think the first thing they're going to do is put him in a secure unit.
Yeah, I
think he's going to need to be there for a minute.
Yeah.
To see what medication, what therapeutic treatments, to see what course of action can get him at least to a level where where he's sort of balanced at least.
100%.
And I think that's going to be the first cause. But you've got to fight for that.
Yeah, but do you know what? I've got
Got to.
4 sons that
I
will
know.
come and help, and they love their uncle, and they're up for it.
That's
do you know
a
what I
blessing.
mean?
That's a
They
blessing.
are.
I hope they watch the show to
I
see,
think
Yeah, they will.
you know.
part of the fight has to start at the top, because your son, your brother is housed. Okay, someone is getting paid to look after him. So that point is that we're all overlooking. There's a key worker staff attached to that house. These things
Sorry.
should not be going on for
And
your
he has
brother.
regular reviews. He must
Remember,
have a
he's
social
under
worker.
there.
Let them
It's
in, he
crazy.
said.
That's what's
He
crazy
said he
about
won't
his
let them in.
situation.
And that's what I'm saying to you. Yeah, of course there is someone getting paid, and they're quite happy to have him sitting at the top of
So
that
that's
house.
why you need to start at the top. See, when you
Yeah.
start
The-
to
the
shake
pe-
them,
the people-
shake that tree.
The
all
people
them
in charge
leaves
of
are
But
that,
the only
the people
thing
in charge of that,
I'm
that
worried
whole
about with all
accommodation.
that is,
She don't have power of attorney.
no, not even that. When they go up in that yard and see what's going on, he's in breach of contract.
So
Just remember
they're
that.
due to kick him out. And
Then where
leave
do I put him?
Yeah.
What do you
They're
mean
due
he's
to
been-
take
but
him
he-
down
he's
and
been-
put him elsewhere, because at the end of the day,
Would they make him homeless though?
no, that's what I'm saying.
They
They
won't,
would
they
take
won't,
him
right?
out, because remember, he's
They won't
being
make him
taken
homeless, will they?
advantage of.
Yeah, but
because he's vulnerable.
yeah,
And
he
this
is.
woman is coming, and if the people that's housing him now have not seen none of this, have not picked it up, they're going to knock his door 5-10 times and just allowed to say, you're not coming in, and walk away. That's wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
There's stages that it goes
I've got
through.
to excuse
They're not
myself.
supposed to
peeps.
have
Need
that.
to go toilet quickly.
They're not
No problem.
supposed. They're not supposed to have that. Simple as that. So all my thought process is like, these people are collecting these money. The minute their tree is starting to be shaken, you will see everything start
And it's
falling
like
into place.
what she said, Mark.
Wrong.
What you said, Kira, is like it's across the board. It's not just you one going through this. It's a whole heap of families going through this same thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are overwhelmed and just tired.
There's no help for mental health, and there's no help even anything accessing anything on the system. I'm undergoing argument with council tax at the moment because accessing their system wasn't possible when I moved, and it was lockdown. So now who's paying that? Because I couldn't get
Exactly.
through to you. And when I finally got through to you, there's 6 months now that you're saying you can't backdate.
Yeah, but they'll start threatening you now.
They're trying to take me to court. I went to
They're
the
trying to put the
courthouse.
onus on you, yeah.
I went to the courthouse and they still sent me a letter saying we went to court and got liability. No, you never. No, you never. Because I went to the courthouse. You ain't taking me to court over that to get liability for money I'm disputing. How does that make sense?
Sometimes it's a whole trial and tribulation, but sometimes going in front of the judge is your best bet.
Yeah, I did.
Because all the other channels, they'll shut you down, override you, taking back the power from you. You go in front of a judge and tell him, and he's not
And this
siding
is
with
where women are more stronger in terms of their patience and their resilience, and in terms of their determination and their passion.
their
I
faith.
mean, because men, a man would have, he given up and said, "Boy, you know what? It is what it is. Let me just try and work it out. Suffer in silence." Yeah, but you don't have to suffer in silence if you got the right information. You got the right people around you that can help you. You know what I mean? You don't have to suffer in silence.
100%. It's just trying to get access to it, and trying to get access to it at a level where they understand what you're going through. Because I find a lot of people that they don't understand the whole culture. They don't understand anything about it.
No.
And they just think that because they don't understand it, they don't really get it. So, no, we'd
Yeah, but
rather
to
not deal with it.
bypass that, one word that has been mentioned quite a few times during today's show is advocacy. Yeah. And when you find the right advocate who can take up your case, your fight, doors start opening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of being shut, doors start opening.
Yeah.
Because they know the questions to ask, they know the people who to direct these questions to,
Yeah.
and then everybody gets a shake up. What these people rely on is that we don't know. We're not armed with enough knowledge, so they can bypass you.
Yeah.
You know, you look at things like Grenfell. That's another failing right there. And to this day, there's still buildings with cladding.
Yep.
And the government came out in 2017 and said
Yeah.
within
We're
6
gonna get
months,
rid of
they're
it.
all going to be stripped. It still goes on. So everybody is suffering within this system that's broken. And the ones that are getting through are the ones that have got that fight and passion to fight for themselves, or they go and seek help via advocacy, whatever, to go and fight the case for them. And you got the others that just think there's no hope to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Take my meter, cut me off, kick me out, make me homeless, and give up. and they like it for you to give up because one less person to deal with.
Yeah.
We can't be giving up. We have to show them that no, what you're actually doing is wrong, it's illegal, and I'll take it places. I know a reporter works for a paper, I'll go and highlight this.
Yeah.
They don't want these things. I bought myself, last thing, I signed up to Twitter. And the only reason why I've got a Twitter account is to complain. And ever since I got that Twitter account, any bad dealings I've had with any business, shops, anything, retail, and I just blast them on Twitter. And straight away they come and ask, oh, can we speak about this in direct messaging in your inbox? And you get a result because they don't want to be embarrassed and they don't want to be highlighted for doing careless things.
I was saying to a woman that she went to Barbados, she come back today, and she said that she went to Barbados. Now her mum's there, and she's been to sunny Barbados, and she went to a restaurant, and then she ordered some a strawberry daiquiri. They said there's no strawberry daiquiri. 15 minutes later, she sees somebody else, that's white, that's got a strawberry daiquiri. So she said, well, hold on a minute. You told me there's no strawberry daiquiri. What's the difference between my money and that white woman's money? Yeah. Oh, well, that's just the way it is. Yeah.
Serious?
So she just got mad and left. I said, that's not the way to deal with it. Get a Twitter account. Yeah. I said the same thing.
Put them on blast.
Put them on blast from the top down.
Or back at your phone even. And start and record.
Because I said, you can just, they don't care. You can walk out, they don't care. But if you don't deal with things and complain or intervene or create some kind of disservice, I'm saying, then you're not going to get no
shining
responses.
light, basically shining light on
and that's what we do. I don't want this to be another podcast where we're just meeting and talking for no reason. You get what I'm trying to say to you? None of us got time to waste. We don't know how many summers we got left. You understand? So it has to be strategic. When we leave this podcast, then what are we going to do? I'm trying to say, how do we assemble ourselves? How do we structure ourselves? How do we create services and programs and interventions to make sure that these things don't happen for our children and our children's children? That's what legacy is about.
You've said that the care system is not culturally appropriate, competent to look after us. So what we need to do was something that was organized before when they were talking about that Black Business Directory. Yeah. So we know what works for us, what we want, our needs, we know them. So then we need to compile our own thing because this whole big system is broken and it's not going to help us. So if we can put a system in place, then we can signpost people.
You see,
Legacy got hubs when people come to see them. If you can't deal with them directly, but you know what it is, go and talk to this person. Phone this
I did it
person.
today. The other day when you called me about your brother and you asked me about father to father, what did I do? I sent you the number because at the end of the day, we don't have all the answers. Is what I'm trying to say to you. But I'm not going to stop somebody getting help just because we don't have the answers in-house. You know what I'm saying? You can signpost them to other people that do. There's so many organizations that's doing great work and we just need to know who they are. And that's why the Legacy Gala is very key because we shine a light on the best of us to inspire the rest of us to do great work. You understand? And so I just feel like the hub where we are pushing information and education, re-education around family support and giving them the tools and the knowledge so they can support their loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Because they know best. They know best.
Do you know what I'd like us to do? I'd like us to have a show. Yeah. Because what you guys have just said, both of you, see, I see loopholes in it. Even though you're bang on, you're correct. We are sitting in a community that doesn't care much about stuff.
They care about themselves, not somebody else.
Listen, you see when George Floyd died.
We do care. I tell you what we care about.
Listen to what I'm saying.
We care about champagne.
Exactly.
And party.
Exactly.
And clothes.
But it's not just that. Even those who don't party will see that. And rather than join you, they will cuss you amongst themselves. And then when they see you on road, they go, oh yeah, I see you the other day, man. You look carry on doing. That's our community. And that's a huge problem.
But you know what happens to them people? It's their children. When their children get shot and stabbed, that's when they start crying.
That's when they care. And it's a cancer in our community. When I say our community, you know, I'm not talking about black community. When I say our community, I mean you, me.
ends,
We
yeah.
all grew up together. We got whites in our community that grew up like
That's
us.
right.
We got blacks. We got
Indians,
Turkish,
Jewish.
Indians.
Yeah.
But you see, when you go out, when I say our community, I've seen you at raves loads, yeah?
What
When
ethnicity
we
are
See
you?
me?
I seen you out the other night, a couple of
Yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
a couple of months. Was it about a month ago, right?
Baiting her up.
Did I brush you up? Did I brush you up? Sorry. But sorry, let me make the point. Let me make the point I was trying to make. Let me make the point though, right? 'Cause it is a very, very important point, and I want us to do a show on this, and it might take us 2 shows to do this, yeah?
Next season, baby.
Maybe next season, kick it off. Maybe even dedicate a whole season to this, because it is a cancer. When I say our community, I don't want people watching thinking I'm talking about black people. No. What I call our community is when we go out. You see when we go out? Whites, blacks, mixed race, country folk, people from Nottingham come down to rave from Nottingham, from Birmingham. We're that community. When you look on your Facebook, if you got 1,000 people, that's the community. They come from all over. I got American people on my Facebook. So when I'm talking about community, I'm not talking a certain color or race or postcode.
Your network.
Right. We're that community. What I found with George Floyd shocked me. That out of everybody I know, hundreds, thousands, only one guy, Soulful Shane, ever represented. Off my Facebook, I looked at my Facebook one and I started deleting because I had like 4,000 plus on my Facebook. And I'm putting stuff up. Let's go out there. And I'm seeing my son's generation are out there. And it put me to shame. And that's what woke me up. And when I go out there, I see people from Ipswich. That's nothing to do with our community.
So what would you like to see? For the
What I
next
would
season?
like to see is our community caring. Look at the Palestine situation. These guys are marching every week.
You know what? It's funny you said
Had
that.
that been, listen, had that been Jamaica, Israel attacked Jamaica, yeah? And Israel are bombing Jamaica down, yeah? Or Ghana, or Nigeria, or Gambia, yeah?
No, we don't care about that.
Do you think our community will be out there still?
Yeah, we'd be
Since
out there for
October.
2 weeks, and then after
For
that,
a week and a
we've
half, you
moved
see
on.
a couple
That's right.
scraggling man, and everyone spud and everyone eat food, and that's it. They're gone. This is what we have as a cancer, because you see what you going back to the point.
Well,
I'm saying
the
because of the
nights,
points
the
you guys
funerals,
made.
the funerals are the new raves now.
Yes, right. You see the points you guys made will be so valid if we had a more passionate community. If we had a community that if they see Marlo come out of a police station, bust up, and someone puts, now we gotta go and stand up about this. And at least half the people that you put the post out to, half the people who saw that were triggered enough to say, yeah, we can't have this because next it won't be Marlo, it'll be me.
No, but the thing is,
Next time it won't be me, it will be him.
Spence,
But we don't have a community like that.
But this is
And
why
that's the
what you're
problem we
saying
have.
is key, and I agree with you. But go on, Bob.
No, I was going to say we do have that community, but what you're saying, I think I've gone one step on, and I've got a sieve. So when you're talking about this big community, look what we're doing. This is the second season.
Right.
If any of us, the guest them, the host them that's been here and come on, if they wasn't in it, you'd have known by now. The commitment wouldn't be there.
That's
Yeah?
right.
So
So there's
time,
people, there's individuals.
There's
This is
individuals, but there's
everything,
not
right.
enough of us, is what I'm trying
But
to say.
what I'm saying
there
to
ain't
you
enough
is,
of us.
there is, but our mindset has to change. I know, all right then, on Facebook, I can just put up stupidness, and there's 100, 200 people liking it, laughing, joining it. And then I'll put on something serious,
And they don't.
the numbers is down.
Exactly.
But what I do then
That's
is
how I was just gonna
focus
tell you that.
on those people that have. That's where I'm building my community from.
right.
Because when I'm talking something serious, something that is detrimental to our community, I'm not interested in the 150 people that like the joke I bust yesterday. Or if I'm talking about Diane Abbott and there's only like say 10 people
If you're
invested in that,
If you're lucky,
then I work with that 10. And
That's
that
right.
10 will give me others.
That's
and you
right.
work that way.
That's right.
We're too busy
That's
still
right.
complaining
This is why,
about
you see,
what
we have to
want.
do this on a
It's not gonna come.
larger scale.
It's not going to come.
Bruv, we
no,
have listen.
no.
We
So
have
what
to
do you
do this
think
on
we
a
have?
larger scale.
I disagree. I disagree. I disagree.
Let me explain something. Because numbers matter.
Of course.
Numbers matter. You see, when that George Floyd situation happened, we had a huge window of opportunity that I spotted a mile away. Had we kept it up, you know what I was calling for? I was calling for laws. Let me tell you something. The way they get around the racism. Well, how do we stop racism? We can't stop racism. But guess what? How do they stop you not wearing seatbelts?
Bro, can I say this?
Wait.
Can I say
so
this?
you understand my point?
Because
Wait,
of
give
time,
me
we
a
only
second.
got
Give me a second.
Go on.
How did they stop you not wearing seatbelts?
I made it
Made
a
it
law.
law.
They made a law. And those who flaunted it, what did they do? They kept raising the penalties, kept raising the penalties, kept raising the penalties. When they wanted you to lock down in your yard, they told you, you have to be a prisoner in your own home. What did they do? They put law behind it. They put penalties behind it. If they wanted to stop racism today,
Yeah, they could.
all
They
they
don't
have
want
to do, is bringing some draconian law. Yes, you will have stragglers. You would have people that ain't going to adhere to it. I have sod them. I'm going to do what I want. If I see a black man, I want to say this. I'm going to. Yes, that guy ends up. He does it 3 times. He's in prison for 6 years. His brethren soon learn and say, ooh, ooh, right?
Racism can't
So
be stopped in this country.
It can be. Let me tell you why I say that. Everything that they wanted to stop, they've stopped. Now, when I say
But they
stop,
don't want to stop.
when I
racism.
say
They
stop,
don't wanna stop it.
you will get offenders. It doesn't matter what law you put in place. You put in America, you get 200 years for murder, but people still kill. Yes, but guess what? Not everybody's gonna kill in it.
Right.
Not everybody's gonna kill in it.
Just
So
summing up
it don't
your
matter what
point.
law you put in place. There will be people that ain't gonna adhere to that. Of course, but you have to start the process because that guy on the bus that spat on the black girl, or the white woman that spat on the black woman, or the Chinese woman because she's a foreigner, said, "Yeah, get off the bus, you don't belong on it." That person gets called if there was laws in place and you lose your council property or you lose this and you lose that, the big consequences
So what
behind
laws do
it.
you?
It will stop.
What laws?
To get those laws, we need numbers.
Hold
That's
on a
what,
minute.
that was
hold
my
on,
point.
Hold on, and I've listened to you because we only got a bit of time left, and I want Kira to wrap up. But what I'm saying is that we are a minority in this country. Yeah, the Afro-Caribbean people are. I don't know the figures, but we're
I
very.
think it's about.
we're
I
very-
think
very-
nationally,
very-
I think
very
it's like
small.
4 or 5%.
Yeah,
but
so
in
very,
London,
very,
London is about
very small.
13%.
But we make up a high percentage of the criminal justice
Everything.
system, the mental health system, exclusion.
Poverty,
Spending.
Hold on, let me finish. Exclusion of the education system. So it shows me that it's by design that they're not trying to create solutions. So even if they change the law around these things, yeah, we have to be wise and strategic to partner with people that want to work with us. And even if it's a very few number of people, I say like this, yeah, the Bible says the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few, yeah? Bro, I don't need an army of people to come. I just need 1 or 2 bad motherfuckers and we're going to take over the whole country. The reason why is because how many people do you think run this country? Yeah, there's not a bag of people that run this country. Yeah, you might have the prime minister, you might have the
Prime
head,
Minister don't
the
even run the
minister,
country.
the treasurer.
He
You
does
might
what
have-
he's told to do.
What I'm saying is though, you're not gonna have you think it's the House of Parliament or the House of Lords or all these people? No, it's key individuals. And if you have the right, like you're driving a car, how many keys do you need to open your car?
Just the one.
Just the one. I think it's the right people. Yeah, once you have the right people around the table, you can do so much.
Marlo, that would work if we didn't have all the other obstacles and trip wires and landmines that are
We're gonna
laid
have to-
along the
we're gonna have
way
to get
for
into
your
this again.
plans. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say to you is,
Yeah.
if we had the passionate numbers, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, so Kira can finish. if we had the passionate numbers to come together,
Well, maybe
and
then-
put a policy,
Maybe
a
then-
few things that we know
that's the next series.
can better our communities.
That's the next series.
It can better the working classes. And we're lucky because I reckon Labour's going to win the next election. And I reckon they're going to be in power for the next 10, 15 plus years because the Tories, I think, are going to be the third party, not even the opposition.
We don't want to take this to a political.
But I'm telling you that upcoming in the
Yeah.
future, we have, because to get things to change for people like we, and the working classes, you need the right government in place. that will listen, that can at least sit down with you and listen.
You're right.
You understand?
You're right.
So that's what I mean about that side of things.
You're right.
But just to wrap up, we need to come together as a community. Let's do a few shows on the next season, maybe even the whole of next season, the challenges that we face, the solutions to those, and we can find a solution. But the numbers matter.
And
Numbers, and you know why numbers matter? The other thing that they love is that our communities don't vote. So when you're a politician and you have a community that doesn't vote, that's like the biggest gift ever. Because they don't change your policy. They don't affect you in any way. Let them stay over there and not vote. And then we got our people saying, I don't vote. What do I need to vote for? They're proud, they don't vote. They're laughing at you that you don't vote.
Yeah.
And what do you think your vote? What do you think the difference that your vote
This
makes?
is what happens.
You think they'll actually lead
let me tell you
this
what happens.
country?
Let me tell you what
to be run by-
Let me tell you what will happen.
We'll do that next season.
To be continued. To be continued, my brother. To be continued.
Because that's another
No,
piece.
let's give the floor to Kira.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, thank you so much, Spence and Mark. But Kira, thank you for coming and sharing deep stuff. There's things I did, you know what I mean? It's good. I'm gonna have to go away and really think about stuff. Anything that we can do to help, which we will do in regards to the solicitors,
Yes.
making sure that you get the power of attorney, or contacting the home and making sure that the management give you a review and tell you what's happening, why is this happening, and what they can do better to make sure that the safeguarding is in place. I mean, the health and safety of your brother is
It's paramount right now. It's paramount.
You know what I mean? And
It's
so,
a life support
you know,
machine, in my opinion.
what I've heard is that we need more around family support. We need more around education and right information, culturally competent support services and interventions. This is what I'm hearing, and I thank you for that. We're going to bring in more women like yourself that have organizations that are working in the community and supporting our community, and maybe can align with us and help us and guide us, because there's things that we just don't know.
Co-produce with women, man. That's what we need to do as men. We need to learn to co-produce with women. Personally, to wrap up, I want to thank you so much for being there, and I hope you come back.
Yeah, it was nice. I've enjoyed being here and talking. It's been really nice.
We hope
Give
you
an
come back
update,
with an update on your brother,
Yeah,
and we hope it's a positive one.
yeah, that.
Also, thank you for teaching me something new today.
Oh, you're
I love it
welcome,
when I learn
Spencer.
something new. Any day that I learn something new is a great
Every
day.
day's a school
And
day.
you've taught me today that narcissism thing can exist between the parent and the child. So thank you for that today.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Glad to. Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. I've had a nice time, and it's been good to express my experiences and to try and get some help for him, because I just feel stuck. I feel like all I'm doing is just enabling him to carry on living the life that's not helping him, and I need help to put it to an end without putting him in a worse situation. That is my issue. That's why I haven't gone and roughed up the
Understood.
care
Understood.
person in the house, because if I now go and do that and they kick off his door and then they say, right, well, this shouldn't be happening and we're dashing you out, where am I
He's
putting
gone
my
from
brother
frying
in?
pan to fire, innit?
Yeah,
But if you're armed with the knowledge, knowing
Yes.
that you could go and rough them up,
yes.
and regardless of the situation that your brother's living in his own flat, he would still be taken care of.
Yeah.
You would have gone and roughed them
Yeah,
up.
100%.
So that's the help you
education.
need. That's the
100%.
education you need. That's the
Yeah.
help you need.
I
So
really
hopefully
do.
Marlo will do that
Mhm.
tonight. Link you with the guy, with the lawyers. So this is tomorrow. Crack on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in touch with you
Yeah,
personally.
please do.
Seriously, I'm gonna call you a couple times a week if I
Yeah,
have. You know,
please do.
I want to know how you're
Last
getting on,
weekend,
and I want to know how
Yeah,
things
we're
are
going
happening.
weekends.
And then we'll go our weekend.
No, but all joking aside, I love to go out. I love to
So
be on
do
that
I.
dance floor,
So do I.
hear that music, and
Come
it's the
on.
whole vibe and
Come
the
on,
love.
release.
I love it.
Come on. Well, I tell these dead gentlemen there, yeah, that's my release.
Shall I tell you why? Because
That's
them lot
my
spend
release.
too much money when they go out. They got a floss when they go out.
No.
Marlo, you know what? Marlo was a
I'm a
raver.
granddad.
Marlo was
I'm
a
a
raver.
granddad.
back in the
Anyway,
day,
guys,
Marlo's
Thank you for coming, guys.
Marlo's
Thank you for coming.
Marlo's forgotten how to rave. That's what it is.
Thank you for coming.
I don't like red champagne.
Thank you for
so-
coming, babe. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Guys,
And, God bless you,
Been
people.
good having you guys
I'll see you.
as an audience today, and wishing everyone a great Wednesday night and a great weekend ahead.
Great stuff. See you next week.
See you
God
next
bless.
week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.